Hey, friendo, Steve here.
Yeah, Larson.
And it's time now that a whole week has passed. My goodness gracious, Larson. Those other guys taking forever.
They're slow.
In 2025.
Well, I mean, this goes well beyond 2025. Habitually slow with getting those star ratings out.
We are officially in the Andreas Hale era, Larson, where the grade comes out moments after the show is concluded.
Yeah, we can't compete with that. So
we can't compete with that. Nah. So we're still just trying to be those other guys, Dave Meltzer. We're going to try to, but for now, we're just going to react to his star ratings because even though he might not be on the Andreas Hale level, Dave Meltzer's star ratings are still heavily debated in the community, Larson.
Yeah, I suppose that's the case. So what do I got to do? I got to try to guess these star ratings for Crown Royal?
Crown Royal Perth is the show that's on.
And a perfect score is 6 out of 5, correct?
That is correct. If you get everything, you get 6 out of 5.
All right. Let's do it.
Right.
I feel good.
Because here's the thing, you get everything, you get a bonus point. So you get 6 out of 5.
It's sort of like you take a test and there's an extra bonus question,
Right. Yeah, exactly.
That if you get it wrong, you don't get docked, but if you get it right, you get the bonus.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
So yeah, like you said, are you good?
As good as I ever am. So
good.
Let's just do it.
All right, here we go. First match on the card, of course, is Bronson Reed. He pinned Roman Reigns in an Australian street fight in 21 minutes and 5 seconds. This is what Dave had to say. The crowd was big into every move. Even though Reed is from Australia and was cheered heavily on Raw, this was a Reigns crowd along with the Cena crowd. Reed finally started getting offense in at 6:40. He put the table Reigns pulled out back under the ring for easy heat. Reed hit the jagged edge, and Cole gave away that it wasn't the finish. Side note here from Steve. Meltzer goes heavy, I think largely because of the Cena match. The Cena match, he talks about more than maybe any match I've ever had to read about before.
Interesting.
It's between the pre-matter. I gave it everything. I gave everything to you, the pre-matter and the actual write-up. It's a lot. But he also goes heavy on calling out Cole for what does he say, for giving away that certain moves are not the finishing moves.
Yeah.
Reed, going back to Meltzer now. The Usos ran in, gave Breaker a double super kick and the 1D. Breaker didn't pop up like Ishii, but he was up from the 1D instantly and pressed Jay overhead and Jay on his knees. That's all you get. There wasn't. All he said was the crowd was big into every move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did I give it? I mean, he didn't talk. I mean, I could try to say, well, he didn't talk trash, therefore, or there's no necessarily superlatives. But there's been times where he gave a match a high score and didn't really, speak highly of it in the write-up, and vice versa. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to, what in doubt going forward, I think Katra's aligned with Dave and I. I'm going to say he gave it 3.5 stars.
You are on your way to 6 out of 5.
Yeah.
Let's see if you could do this, man. Let's see if you can get the first 100%. I feel like if there's any card that they can get 100%, it might be this
the
one.
odds are better these cards with only 5 matches on.
Yeah, right. Next up, Stephanie Vaquer pins Tiffany Stratton to win the 2025 Crown Jewel title in 10 minutes and 5 seconds. The match was fine. They weren't given much time to build, and the match didn't have much heat. I was told people were so into Reigns that they couldn't follow it. Barrett called Stratton the best athlete, male or female, in the company, noting her being on the national team in gymnastics. The Devil's Kiss spot, of course, got the crowd up. That's what you get. That's actually kind of, comparatively speaking, it's a lot of.
It is.
The match was fine.
So, I mean, if I go back to his own scale for how he grades matches, his own star ratings.
Yeah.
Good is 3 stars. Okay is 2. I feel like fine is somewhere in between there. Fine's not quite good.
Good.
But it's obviously better than okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that probably, from an English language standpoint, that sounds right.
But not to say that Meltzer's going to necessarily adhere to his own grading scale and standards. I'm going to say he went 2 3/4.
2 3. Yeah, he went 3 1/4.
Wow. All right. So fine is better than good.
Fine is better than good. Well, yeah. I don't know. I kind of feel like there's a disconnect between him using that language and the actual star rating. So
Yeah, I think that goes without saying. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. John Cena pinned AJ Styles in 27 minutes 11 seconds. I did try. I got rid of all. I got rid of all the mundane description, but there was a lot when it came to the finishers and and Dave was tickled by what WWE would acknowledge and what they wouldn't acknowledge. But he does talk. He does give a lot of editorializing here, so I'm going to give you a lot to chew on. Maybe too much. Cena versus Styles was as unique a match as there is. The idea was that Cena was representing WWE and Styles was representing TNA. The match consisted of almost entirely finishing moves of star wrestlers from each promotion, as well as their own finishes. It's the Paul Heyman special with an audience into finishers. Just fill the match with them. Any two other people, this would not have worked, but the crowd was going to be into anything Cena did, and just by doing big moves for reactions for nearly half an hour was going to be something he could do. Many saw this as the best match of the year for the idea that you saw so many finishers and the tribute aspect of all the finishers. If you were predisposed to the idea of a memorable and unique match, you got it. The crowd loved it. It really was just meant to get you to smile, as it had really no drama or intensity at the highest level. It had a ton of tributes and tons of finishers. The biggest reaction was when Cena did Sister Abigail on Styles and the place lit up with camera lights. It was a special scene and Cena was moved by it. The other two moves that got the biggest reaction, also by Cena, were the Lion Tamer of Chris Jericho and the Tombstone of Undertaker. The Undertaker's move was placed as the biggest one, and to show him as the biggest star, since it set up the AA finisher, a move Styles had kicked out of 3 times previously in the match. The Lion Tamer spot led to loud Y2J chants and probably helped Jericho's bargaining power, just as his contract is expiring with AEW. That match made this show, as without it, it was really just another show. Michael Cole and Wade Barrett helped as well, as in the last few minutes they put it over like an all-time classic match over and over, which is their job. However, it was also hilarious with each move. When someone in the WWE systems move was being done, they identified the person. When it was someone else, they would never mention the name of the person. What made it hilarious is when Styles used a basic choke, Cole called it the Coquina Clutch, but wouldn't say the name Samoa Joe. Very clearly, Cole was told ahead of time of what to call the moves. There were still not many not called, such as Kazarian's Fade to Black by Styles, but he clearly was also told that you can't mention the names of these wrestlers unless they are WWE wrestlers. Jericho was the exception, as they called his move the Walls of Jericho. Jericho being the exception is also quite notable. That was all pre-matter.
Wow.
Here's the write-up. And again, there's 2 full paragraphs here without mentioning descriptions, just straight description. He says this: Cena wrote, I'm just going to try to boil this down, because he says stuff like, Styles used a torture rack into a power bomb and a scorpion death drop. The announcers used the term, never mentioned Sting. Cole said it was an homage to one of Styles' great opponents. That made it even more awkward, and he wouldn't mention Sting. Styles did the Coquina Clutch. The live crowd didn't know the significance. Cole called the move but wouldn't say Jose's name. I think he means Joe. He went for the phenomenal forearm, but Cena turned to Sister Abigail for the biggest pop really of the entire show, and fans pulling out their phones. Cena seemed really happy about that. He said, he mentions the Kazarian thing, and he says at this point, later on, he says, at this point, the announcers were putting this over like as an all-time classic. Fans started chanting for a 619. Cena set it up, but he wasn't going to be able to pull that one off. So Styles used a clothesline and springboard 450. Styles did the last call for James Storm, but fans thought it was the sweet chin music for Michaels for a near fall. Styles hit the phone. Well, did James Storm tune up the band for?
Not that I don't remember, but that seemed very distinctly a Shawn Michaels shout out.
It did, but maybe James Storm used to pay homage to Shawn Michaels, and that's what it was. I mean,
Could be.
From what Meltzer's saying, it actually does kind of make sense, because Styles was doing all the TNA stuff, so that does really make sense. Fans started chanting yes and wanted a Danielson move. They did not acknowledge that, and that's what you get. Lots to chew on.
It sounds like Dave, while appreciating kind of the unique qualities the match possessed, plus how much the crowd was into it, wasn't going to overlook some minor kind of shortcomings in terms of the match. Because what Dave likes is intensity and drama, as well as huge moves in long matches.
Yeah, long matches. Big heat.
So and heat. So the crowd was into this match. It had the moves. It had the length. But really, it wasn't that intense. It really wasn't filled with that much drama in terms of the story of the match. So I don't think he's going to go as high as 5 stars, much less above. Question is, if you know what, I'm 1 for 1 with us being in alignment, guessing my score, and thinking it's going to be the same as his. I'm going to say he went 4.5. Same thing I gave it.
So close. 4 3/4.
I was almost going to say 4 3/4.
I forgot what I gave this match.
I think you gave it 4 3/4.
Yeah, sounds right. I also gave it to the 3.5 one for the first one. I forget what I gave. Anyways, after that, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky beat Asuka and Kairi Sane in 19 minutes 56 seconds. The wrestling here was the best on the show, particularly Asuka versus Sky. But the crowd wasn't making much noise coming off the high at the end of the prior match. They did pop big for Ripley's hot tag, but even then her reaction wasn't what I had have expected, and I was told it was much louder for her the night before when she did a dark match in the same building. Ripley's entrance got a super reaction. Sky did it later on. Sky did a great missile dropkick on Sane. The crowd was very into that move. Cole kept giving away the near falls that weren't the finish. I think I think it's indoctrinated in him that this is good announcing from Vince that he'll be doing it in his sleep and never stop. That's all you get.
Best wrestling on the show. Interesting. I feel like he's probably, but the crowd wasn't that into it. Or he mentioned the crowd wasn't as into it as he thought they would be. So, gosh, do I go 4 or do I'll say 4 1/4.
4 1/4 it is. Good job. You're on a roll today. You felt good coming into this. As a result, you got a good score. What do you got?
2 of 4. 2 of 4.
All right. Let's see if you can get 3 of 5 here. All right. Final match. Seth Rollins pinned Cody Rhodes to win the 2025 Crown Jewel title in 29 minutes and 41 seconds. Not a lot to go on here. He says the announcers opened saying that Rhodes wants to do for the next 2 decades what Cena did for the last 2. Rhodes is already 40.
All right.
Because he's saying that Rhodes will be well into his 60s.
Yeah, I'd be 60 years old, yeah.
Yeah. Fans immediately started chanting for Punk. Rollins wore the watch that supposedly Rhodes gave him for helping him beat Reigns. Rollins did the coast-to-coast flying headbutt that hurt his shoulder here. That was a cool move that got a big response, but the landing was bad. They were trading punches. The problem is the crowd was so quiet here. It's kind of all you get.
Wow.
Yeah. He did a lot. I mean, the whole bulk of the beginning of the newsletter was what they're going to do with Rollins out.
Yeah.
But he didn't really comment too much on the match here.
That's interesting.
Just that I think maybe in the pre-matter. No, I mean, it was pretty much here. He called the move, I think, unique earlier on. And he says it's a cool move that got a big response. Yeah. I think he said of the move, a flying coast-to-coast flying headbutt, which I had never seen before.
Okay. Well, he's definitely not going to go 4 stars if he didn't write much about it, except for saying the crowd was kind of not into it. I'll say he went 3 3/4.
3 3/4 it is. Look at you having a good day. Love to see it. Love to see it.
Yeah.
So, well done. Well, very well done. Very well done. Yeah. Very close to getting that elusive 6 out of 5.
So close.
So close. But yeah, I guess next on the docket is Wrestle Dream. I've got Wrestle Dream.
You got 8 chances to beat my 60% I just got on this one.
I'm gonna go after the old 9 out of 8.
If you got 9 out of 8,
yeah, that'd be huge.
That'd be pretty huge.
That'd be huge. I'll get a belt made. Anyways, that's gonna do it. Let us know what you guys thought about Dave Meltzer's reactions in the comments below. Till next time, we'll see you guys around.
Goodbye, everybody.